Yeah, I'm Dr. Mildred Ayere from Maseno University, Kenya. I'm a senior lecturer in educational technology, School of Education, and I also am the director of the e-campus. So we run online classes. We support mature students in their learning, and we also advise the university on technologies that can be used to support teaching and learning. And I think lastly, what we do as an e-campus is that we mainstream, or we do blended learning for courses in the university, besides offering the fully online courses for the mature students. I was saying there are two things. One, the learners in the schools who are deaf normally cannot get an interpreter, especially if they are not learning in a group, because the parents cannot afford and the government cannot provide for every individual. But two, when the deaf person is in the community, like in hospital, in church, when they are going to buy or sell, they need someone to interpret for them. And many times they cannot always have this person. So this technology was supposed to act as a personal assistant in helping these people communicate in their day-to-day life, besides communicating for teaching and learning. That we were supposed to use the hypnosis, but it proved difficult to learn, especially the research assistants could not master the process. So instead, we changed it, and we used a Google tool that was able to do the same translation, and that is Google Post. That is what we finally used in our translation. The reason why an avatar is useful, one, it can be appended online so that it can be used with most of the online tools available for teaching and learning. Then two, it can be fitted into mobile technology, which means the learner can move around. If it is on their phone, they can have it with them all the time. Again, it can be fitted to a large screen and would be able to help in group learning, especially where the teacher does not know how to sign. They can be able to teach, and the avatar will be their translator. Yes, the deaf learners have a lot of challenges. One, you will find that at the very early age, Kenya does not have any school for the deaf. The child is supposed to learn in an ordinary school with every other learner. So it becomes difficult for the teachers to manage the child and for the child to interact. But with an avatar, this child would be able to interact. Then two, as they grow up and go to higher education, they go alone. So they're in a community of learners alone. It is difficult to identify every deaf learner that goes into higher education and assign them an individual interpreter. So in their class, they will be alone most of the time. So an avatar would be a personal assistant to these learners. Improving learning outcomes is one, the deaf learner will be able to learn on their own. They don't need somebody else to help them with this. But then two, the deaf learner can access learning from any institution. They will not be confined to specific institutions as currently is happening. They are only given maybe to go to education where they know there are people ready. But if they get this technology, they will be able to move into any profession ideally. So it is opening up like the world for them. And they are also able to operate within the community without restriction. Yes, I said that in data collection, we used an ordinary camera with video to collect the data from the schools. But then after collecting this data, it was curated, and we used Google tools to be able to curate. Then we moved to Elan tools that was able to subdivide the videos into small sections so that each sign is captured individually within the video. So the Elan tool was able to do the segmentation of the videos. Then in processing the Elan files, we used pause estimation, and in pause estimation there were two tools, the holistic and face mesh. So the holistic tool captures the body signs, but the face mesh is able to express the facial expressions as a person is signing. And lastly, we use the multilingual translator. Multilingual in the sense that we needed to translate from English to Kiswahili to sign language in either direction, so that if the spoken word is in Kiswahili, for instance, it should be signed for the learner. If the learner is signing, which is now their language, it can be translated into English. So that is what we did. And finally, we put a face to the stickman that was used in signing. So we put a face that could then be seen as a person, either a girl or a boy, if there's young classes, a man or a woman for the higher education students. Let me just speak to three key challenges. One is, the very first one is that it was very difficult for the schools to acquire the technologies that are needed to use with the avatar. Most schools do not have, and we are still wondering, but we are hoping for testing. We will carry our own laptops, we will carry tablets that we already have at the university and have them test with it in their schools. A few of the schools already have tablets, especially the primary schools were provided by the government, which is good. But two, the challenge of the teachers' technological skills. So this means, therefore, there will need to be a lot of training done for the teachers for them to effectively put into place this technology. And of course, the last challenge that we are actually seeing is the fact that KSL is confined to the Kenyan community. So scaling it means it can only be done within Kenya, because we will have to do a few more adjustments for it to fit in the rest of the world, because every community seems to have a different sign language that they use. for education actually opens up a lot of possibilities. And therefore, at the moment, we feel that this is just the beginning. Very few people have ventured into using AI to develop tools that can benefit learners in the schools. And for us, I think this is a start, and we want to see how we can move forward in using AI to mitigate challenges that are already existing in the schools. So, and in higher education, when we talk of testing and even the large classes that we handle in Africa, can we develop tools that can mitigate the marking so that the teacher concentrates on the teaching and marking is done using some AI tool? It would really free up space for more teachers to concentrate more in the process of teaching and learning. So there's a lot, and especially in disability area, these children are left behind. How can we use AI to make their learning better, to make their learning more interesting, to make their parents open up to possibilities of giving them a chance to learn like every other child can do? I think as I end, I just want to thank the funders that made it possible for us to actualize our idea. Most of the EduAI Hub, they have been very helpful whenever we are stuck. They allow us to call, and when talking to them, they're able to suggest possibilities. This helps us to move forward. There are times we were behind and we asked for time extensions. They were willing to give us a chance. So generally, the team has been very helpful, and we are grateful. And we are grateful for everyone who has funded the project. Thank you.